And we're live. Good evening, everyone. Um, Again, I'll wait for a few moments to um, give time for a few of you to get on here. Hi, Lena. So it's a question and answer session with a little bit of an energetic update before I get into it. I chose to do this because I was just sitting around a bit and uh, just to fill in some time while I'm waiting for a call. So great. Hi, Hung, Judith, Sue, Sarah, Judith, Jude. Much love to you as well. Um, so I'll begin. There's a few here. That's great. Paul, Marcos, Janet, Jeanette, Lena. So some current little energetic things before I answer some questions. Uh, there's an influx of light currently coming in. It requires naps, as you will see, and a lot of you experienced today. And again, with any discoloration under the eye areas, this tells you you're getting a little bit filled up with light. Just go outdoors, just ground some of it out in your bare feet, even if it's snow where you're at, go out on the sidewalk, that does it. And whatever other grounding technique you have. But you only wish to take the surplus of the energy off when you ground. Um, because you're being filled up with a higher light quotient again, which is like a fuel for you to manifest in your reality after about a couple days. And not only to manifest, but to give you a much stronger direction with your divine work, enhancing it. Let's say in your meditations at sending love to areas, for example. So this just gives you some more fuel. So that's going on currently. Let's say last evening, for some of you, I know I was in a space of no time where I could look out the patio doors here all evening as well. And the most ships that I could see at any time was 4, and no other stars, no other ships. So perfectly clear sky, void of what you would call stars and ships, except there were 2 for most of the night, and then it was 4 before morning. I was speaking with another divine comrade, and she was experiencing last night that she could see, I believe that was Beth, a dozen or 2 dozen ships where she was at. However, no stars. So just sharing that, it was important. It was a time of no space. However, there was more attached to this, and it also gets into geometry. It also gets into the recent grid work I have done here, and it can get pretty complex with creation also why this occurred. However, it's good for all of us, and it has great benefits going forward. So I'm gonna light up a cigarette. And so I didn't write anything down for this live. Again, it's just a fly by night thing, if you will, and it's night here in Spain. It's about 9:45. Having said that, sleeping habits have been totally irregular. Been seeing it a little bit in some others as well. So all of the typical ascension things. So again, we're still in kind of a waiting mode, as many of you know, with getting the show on the road and with Q and things. The storm is here, and yes, it needs to unfold. I believe it was a week or two ago now. The anticipation was that indictments would have been unsealed on Monday or Tuesday, a week or 2 weeks ago. And again, that's being prolonged. So any of you that is watching this, that is in groups, enhance the energy, if you wish, towards getting this show on the road. And is what I suggest. And we're working towards that. I'm going to Egypt very soon, and this will be a very important time, and also for, let's say, some others of you that are going as well, that are being called. So very important, good times and good things will occur. Okay, I'll answer some questions. Linda Winger. Hi, Linda. Good to see you, girl. Yeah, you just noticed just one the other night. And Daniela, boo, she says, hello, everyone. Okay, let's see if I got some questions. So, well, that's good. No questions. That's excellent. We can keep this short, and so I don't have to ramble. Only be about 7 minutes. 7:01. There we go with that. 71, an important number, of course, and our 222s coming up today. Yeah, interesting. And yeah, numbers are important. When you look at the repetitive number sequences, one benefit that it does, it keeps your interest there and gives you, an incentive to know at least that things are happening, and that you're in a higher vibration when you see those, and magic is more apt to happen, or the synchronicities around those. So they do have divine benefits for us all, and also there are many clues within the number sequences, and it doesn't have to be like repetitive numbers like 777. As you're seeing, all of the number messages to some degree are codes, and they do carry different messages. And online, when you see one of these numbers, you can just go on, check some of the angel number sites. They give you some information, and there's also numerology as well that plays a important part, and Tibetan numerology is a good one to also perhaps check, to give you some different insight. Okay, I'll scroll down here. Hey, brother Naja. And Linda Winger, Egypt, she spent much time there, not in this lifetime though. Yeah, many have spent time there, of course. And hey, Mila from Romania, hello. And Patty Pooley, she asked, what will I be doing in Egypt? Well, what occurs with what I do for the most part, Patty, I'm divinely directed to go to a certain area. And what generally occurs is that I'm not given beforehand, maybe perhaps a day before, sometimes before I get there. And also the timing of when I get somewhere is usually not planned out, especially since I've been over in Europe and around here. So having said that, it is again, usually in divine timing, that I do not have much physical control or conscious control over it here. It's laid out for us. Where I go, and of course, what I will be doing. Um, However, having said that, some basics that is known is that there's energetic work to be done there. There is activation of codes, transfer of codes, a deposition of codes, and also meeting some others with combined energy there at certain times. It changes things. So in the least, it'll be energetics and activations, and yeah, maybe we might light up the pyramids and change all reality. That would be a good one. So yeah, there's along those lines. It's energetic work, Patty, is for the most part divine energetic work. What I can also say is that one of the nodules that we have for the new 5D leyline grid, the 5D grid, which is responsible and dictates what occurs in reality. One of the nodules is not where it used to be in Giza. It's actually, let's say, far south from where it had to be. And we had to move this nodule for certain reasons. So, having said it before, one of the 3D ley line nodules, I believe, was right around Giza, but the new 5D nodule that and it has been activated by some others, perhaps about a year or two ago. That is south of Giza. I may be required to visit that area. There's a few sites also while I'm in Egypt that I will visit, also to pick up some energetic codes while I am there, and whoever may accompany me, and then also we pass them forward as I meet others afterwards, and it's an overall divine process at administering the codes, and the physicality is so important with this, and hence the geographical traveling, and also the requirement of ones being meeting together in the physical. So there is a much broader mixing and melding and transitioning of codes back and forth, as well as divine gifts when you're in the physical proximity of each other. Now we can transcend time and, of course, space with certain amounts, with certain attributes of your energy, and however, you do not generally in this lower dimension mix and meld the complete energetic field with another. That requires physical proximity for your auras to, or your energetic fields to connect and interact with each other. So again, that's why, again, it's important that ones travel to these places, do the energy work, deposit codes, and receive codes as well. And then, the others that you meet, it's passed on, and everyone is, let's say, connected with these codes, and all as a group, and then you rise up with more of these energetic values integrated within your being and also within your consciousness, which opens doors to higher divine knowledge in through the consciousness, and also begins to activate more of your superhuman gifts, if you wish to call them that, but also your divine gifts. So it's quite a beautiful, magical, important process as well, and the reason for it is to assist in the ground crew here with doing your divine work, your divine tasking, and making you as most efficient and beneficial to the allowable degrees of the vibration of the dimension of the timelines. And I needed to say that because there is a governance, a divine governance that dictates on what gifts you may use, and it is governed to a degree. And an example, just to go way out there, I used it before. Every one of you can walk on water. We all can do it. However, it's just not allowed to do that all here. It changes things so very quickly, at least at this time. Hey, you know, I'd love it if in a day's time everyone's walking on water. That will get the job done. However, I haven't been told that will be so in a day's time. However, at any moment it would be great to hear that. Then we'd get this mission completed. So thanks, Patty. So that's a little bit of what I'll be doing in Egypt. Daniel, hey Daniel, love your brother. I stayed at Daniel. Oh, it's good. When I was in England, London, yes, I stayed there maybe a night or two. I just don't remember. Daniel would just keep going forward, but he says, just as I said, 777. His phone was at 77% battery. Yeah, beautiful. And yeah, we love them numbers, eh? Very good. And Alicia Young Hall, love from Costa Rica, anchoring in these divine frequencies. Yeah, thank you, Alicia. Much love to you as well. Yeah, we keep doing, you know, all the good stuff, right? Get it done. And Sabrina Marie, she was around Mesopotamia more so in a past life. Okay, I'm just scrolling here. Yeah, the sevens. Robin, you get sevens all the time. 777. Yeah, you know, that's a kind of a rarity, but a special master number to be receiving that all the time. That's very impressive to see that coming from your way there. I love that. Woo! Linda Winger, you just found out you have Egyptian toes. Okay, that's cool as well. Some has Roman toes, but none of us, hopefully, unless they're the good Romans. But we'll see what happens. Okay, Beetlejuice. Naja Ramos Sapele. Would you happen to have insight on the star Betelgeuse that exploded, reaching our planet? Let me just say, Naja, with these things, nothing where we're at here has an apocalyptic or impact upon Gaia. We're in a 4D Gaia where, yes, there's many what you would call natural disasters, but in all reality, we do not die, so it does not matter what happens. It's only let's say a displacement on other timelines. So with Beetlejuice, I'd seen a little bit of that info coming up, and again, if anything, it would have a beneficial impact here. And I'm going to go a little bit higher, that actually what you see and what you know as constellations or stars in the sky, you really have the ability to, in your higher space, for them just to be all ships or also not to be there. So having said this, because of your multi-dimensional aspects, that in the least, nothing catastrophic occurs And again, we're in a 4D transitory state while this ascension gets completed. And this is not to say, this is not to say that everything goes smoothly, as most of you discovered, because we are the co-creators, the ground crew here, to orchestrate and assure that everything does go, as smoothly as possible. So again, we are the ones. If we did not need to do this, yes, we could all just go and have fun and it would just occur. But as many of you are finding, you have divine tasks to do, and each one of you gets called in your own way to go and do it. And for that fact alone, it tells you that we are the ones here to integrate the change into the timeline. And again, with all the ascension symptoms, as you can see, no one avoids that. You don't go unscathed from it, and it does occur for a reason. If this was all fun and games in, let's say, creational magic, then we wouldn't need to go through any of that. And also, there would not need to be teachers. None of this would be occurring. If we were not the co-creators here to create the change. All of you have been informed on what was wrong with the world, and one of the reasons for that is because we are the ones to change this, and we're doing it. So we have creation in our own hands here, and with that comes responsibilities and great discipline. To keep it short, okay. So if Beetlejuice exploded in someone's thoughts or another dimension, it doesn't need to have an impact here, is what I wish to say. I always like to keep things as simple as possible, but keep things, to the positive side, because as creators, as co-creators, we create from the state of mind, the polarity of mind, meaning that if you have negative thoughts in your mind, you are constantly creating that in your reality. If you have fear thoughts within you, you're constantly, it's being a part of your reality. And you have the full ability to create a full positive reality, or charge it to the positive. So what I say, it's a matter of choice. Why not choose the highest positive road and just keep pumping that into your reality? It does have an effect, and the stronger you become as a co-creator, the stronger effect that that you do have on creating that reality. So, and Linda says the pyramids have come online, have they not? Let me say, Linda, since 2012, that there's been sequences of activations, and many have done great work there. For instance, Stellar, what I put out her post earlier, and in groups like that, but so many more have been doing great work there. But let's say there's more to come with these pyramids yet. And I say that for the simple reason that, all the mysteries and all the truths surrounding the pyramids in Egypt has not been, released to the public. What you'll find in any documentary or discussion on it, you will see theories, but you'll also see them saying that there's still unanswered questions and mysteries with that. So again, that indicates that not all is known yet, and let's say there's some pleasant surprises to come with this as well. So, and we really love to see that, huh? Cool. Thank you for that, Linda. What was this? Okay, that's not a question for I. Just scrolling. Hi, Leslie Louise. She says, hello, beautiful people. Hello, you as well, Leslie. Joseph Lamb says, Rick, do you feel I should stay alone today and do grid work or gather with family today? There has been a block that has been in place for a distance to show some we need step in our sovereignty divinely and not be connected to the dark network. What you're saying so far, Joseph, unless I receive something, again, I always suggest go with what you feel and what resonates with you. Like let your connection to Creator be your guidance and trust that. And also, with your what you could call your angelic realms guidance with that. Let's see. Well, your question, what do you think? It may be timely ordained to transcend with that person today. Well, Joseph, where you said that, I would concur to follow that aspect of what you're doing. However, connected to the dark network and contributing, as you're saying, not be connected to the dark network and not contributing to the darkness. Yeah, always. I suggest don't don't support that to any degree, and also don't even don't even have it in your consciousness and in your thoughts unless you know that you are subjugated to something that you need to work through in regards to that. You like to keep the mind/consciousness, as pure as you can to the positive is what I suggest. Julie, you smell my cigarette again. Oh boy. Well, these cigarettes are pretty good and natural. These ones that I have here, I'm smoking rolled ones. These are a pretty good brand. I do have natural tobacco that I roll as well, which is good. So these aren't too toxic. What I have here, actually, pretty good with that. So still scrolling down here, see if I can find another question. And many of you may have put questions there, but the way this chat works, it's only a small box, and the way Facebook is set up sometimes that the feed will clutter up and it moves irregular. So if I'm missing some of your questions, again, put them near the bottom, and I will look at that. So I see Linda Marie says Serapis Bay has been front and center this month. That's good to hear, Linda. I didn't see that yet. I saw some indications. Yeah, perhaps I did, at the first of the month. And, so many of these godly aspects and representatives from different aspects of creation, especially anything connected to Egypt now, is becoming more elevated and energized for very good reasons as well. And, one of the good reasons is all of the beliefs and myths that have been, well, everything is reality, really. There is no myths, but I'm just using the label myth to describe some of the beliefs. And in reality, all of the beliefs are real. And during this ascension, they all are required to transition uh, if they are to remain with us as we go forward. They are to transition to the highest light and the highest positivity. Um, for instance, in any of the older mythological or yeah, let's say in some of the old mythological aspects, any gods of destruction or what have you no longer need to apply for the 5D because it's a harmonious, constructive grid that is void of anything negative. So, for just that reason, you no longer need the negative, dark, destructive aspects of reality and also of the belief system in there. And this is also why ones are being, transitioned to keep fully to the positive and be very conscientious of your thoughts and what you are creating as we go forward. For instance, if you keep energizing a god or a goddess of destruction, you keep that in your reality and you don't escape it. So it's very important to understand that it is utmost important and significant where your thoughts and your beliefs may be. It is most beneficial for all upon the surface or with this ascension to just connect themselves straight back to the head honcho, the first point of creation where you came from. And in that way, then you don't need the beliefs and the religions and all of these other things that can keep you wavering on your track. If you go to the highest level of your belief, then that takes you out of this reality of so many different, perhaps even confusing beliefs, and just keep yourself open, and that will lift you much quicker. For example, where you're creating now, if you, let's say, give a lot of your thoughts always on uh, a Sasquatch soul, even though they are real, what you could be doing is keeping that aspect in your reality when you can be going, let's say, directly back towards source, creator, onto higher and quickened levels with your ascension as well. So it's a few things, choices that you can make that will assist you depending upon where you wish to go. But to get out of these lower densities and these lower realms, like what one's labeled 3D, to get out of 4D, you need to leave go of the energetic inhibitors, such as the negative beliefs and the whole fear spectrum. And again, love is the key to get out of here. It is the foundation. And when you change all of your actions and your reactions and your thoughts into the full love capacity of all that is, with void of fear and negativity, and it propels you forward very rapidly. Now, what I will say, it does not for the moment get you out of here, but at least it puts you to the ceiling while you're waiting for the rest. And again, one may be well ready up here at the ceiling to break through into 5D, 6D with their physical vessel. However, you are kept here because you are connected to the others down here. And whoever's going, we all go together. So even though you've done all your work and you're sitting up here, you must wait most of you for the rest to catch up. And and I know I have some very beautiful, powerful divine comrades upon the surface, and it's likewise. We are ready to go. However, we know our divine mission here is to assist the others, and we can expedite this ascension process by doing that. So I reach down often, and as many that follows what I do, you'll see Rick like dip and dive right down into the politics and all of these things. However, it does play an important role in this ascension, and there are ones down there that I do connect with and reach out to because they are part of us as well, and it's very important that I do these things at times and dive into the politics, what Trudeau's doing or Trump, or even in Europe. Sometimes I do dip down in there, and it is for divine reasons to be the most beneficial that I can while I'm here upon the surface too. So, okay, I'll stop rambling and see if we get some more questions here. And Eva's asking, are you still attached to the state? No, I'm not attached to the state by my own being. My own verbal decree just says no. I see you have Sasha Stone in there, and yeah, there's work done. There's so many that have done work in that area of the sovereignty to detach, from the let's say from the governance, and where you unknowingly gave your consent away, and that's very rapidly breaking down. And to add with that, with Sasha Stone and also other sovereign groups, there has been very immense work done on that. And different applications which can be used by ones written, if they need that when they're entering the first levels of that. So there is a lot of information out there, and so you can detach as you feel from the state, whatever you call the state, and the governance with that. So. Head honcho, love it. Yeah, the head honcho. That's the big guy and girl. Yeah, mom and pop. So, Corinne Norman says she's noticing that a lot of drama and judgment is raising at the moment in the different spiritual communities. And she says she knows it's part of the transition, but it still saddens her to see. Yeah, you're absolutely correct, Corinne, and thank you for bringing this up. Last night, actually, I was divinely given information perhaps to put out a very detailed explanation and just deal with judgment, why it's so important also to let go of that, to set one free so they can rise up. And, with this drama and judgment, yes, there are, let's say, lots of groups. However, again, with these groups, there's a certain audience, what's attached, and it's a certain group certain groups are also going through their own things. And from the highest perspective, no one is actually wrong with this. And I suggest for anyone that sees this, as you do, Corinne, just you can just note it and observe it, but also know that there are different things what different ones need to experience on the way towards the full convergence. So again, it is a process with that. And we've come so far on this journey. However, again, this period we just went through also, and still going through it, it's the mirror of effect. And this is very important, what I'm about to say. Um, Many of you at the highest thresholds waiting for the rest, you don't go unscathed from being a mirror as well. So we're in this in between here. This is where we're at, and this is where a lot of this mirror goes on, and all of the processes of the inner work. And even though you're staying here at the ceiling assisting others, you still play a role in that transmuting and being a mirror and assisting with the inner work and assisting others. Also, what we refer to on the collective level. So, and what it overall is, within this gap where everyone's working, it's an overall transmutation of all of the energy that is in here. We are transmuting that to positivity so that we all go up higher out of this gap. So what I'm saying, this energy, what's in here, inside here, it's all negativity and it's all fear. And once that's all transmuted to the positive here, then the ceiling comes off and everyone floats up. So even though you have very advanced divine souls here that have done this, we all are playing a role with this. And, having said this, I wish to go back to a period in mid-December where even I had was transmuting so much for Jerusalem area and Tel Aviv, and it become very intense for I, Corinne, that what it was transmuting the fear and the negativity out of that area in Israel. It was the most immense in transmutation that I ever did. And I did not, when I took it all in as a magnet, I did not recognize how intense it would be. I did not know beforehand. And let me say that I opened up like a huge vacuum cleaner and sucked that negativity and fear in from the collective. And let me say, it was just very overwhelming, the process within my energetic field in the physical vessel. And let me say, some of the stuff that was coming out, especially through my conversations with Sharon at the time, which was playing a role of an area for me to project the love, to transmute it. Some of the things I was saying was not even I, but it was so intense, all of the magnitude of the fear and the negativity that I was transmuting into love. And, it can be at times very overwhelming, if you don't know what's going on. But also at that time, I took in a huge amount. And let me say, I was working at my fullest potential, resolving and transmuting that, and it was very intense. So just to share that. So if you've done all of your inner work, and most of you here have done that, when you began to acting out of the norm, one of the first indications it's not you, that you're transmuting for the collective or for another, as being a mirror for another. So, for example, with the mirror effect is if someone has something within them that needs to go, you will become the mirror for that and reflect it back to them so that they can see it. It's brought out in the open where it's more easily recognized to see the energetic impacts it can have, and in that open experience more so allows the consciousness to know that negative acts and behaviors and things are, where it needs to go. And when one becomes the mirror for that, it's to also see if it activates the others back, and if they act in that manner, then they know it's also within them that it needs to be reconciled. So it's quite a process with it, and you're dealing with the humanoid emotions, you're dealing with the energy. So you're actually, when you're dealing with emotions and energy, you're actually dealing with the foundations of creation, and you're dealing with the biggest stuff. And as a humanoid, that can become so inundating sometimes with that. And again, but we all do it. It needs to be done, and that's why it's occurring. And it needs to be done in the least to activate the Orion portal, which resets the timelines. It resetted them on December 28th. That just went by, and it's the beginning of the new age of Aquarius, if you will, what was prophesized, and what has been written and kept here as more of a sort of an instruction, not an instruction manual, let's just say a guidance. Let's just say a map would be the best thing, and when these things are obtained and reached, like the Hopi prophecies and the Mayan prophecies, when you see and also, the biblical revelations, the prophecies, some of those are correct as well. And so when you see them, coming to fruition from several sources, like let's say you see them coming from the Hopi, the Mayans, the Bible. When you see it coming from several sources, it adds more of accreditation to it. It validates and confirms that it is so, and versus just having a Bible saying about revelations, and no other prophecy saying anything about that aspect, then it tends not to have, for one's, too much validation. But when you have many prophecies all saying the same sort of thing, then you can more so trust that there is things going on, but you also can trust that it was known, and that there is at least some form or degree of accuracy in what was written, as a map, what to look for, the signs, and what to follow. Well, these question and answers, I find myself rambling on. I never tend to get too many questions answered. Corinne says, do you have any insight on there's groundwork being done in Denmark? Corinne, I have not been there. I have not participated in, but what I can say is globally, there is work being done everywhere. And, we're all spread out globally around, geographically around Gaia, to assure that the energetic work gets done. So having said that, I do know I was in touch, I believe, with at least one or two divine comrades that was in Denmark. So I do know, yes, there is at least work being done there. Thank you. So just going down, looking for some questions. You're welcome. All of you that have said thank you and much love to all of you. Still just scrolling. I don't know where I'm at up here, but I'm just scrolling down looking for some questions. Flow, baby, flow. Yes, that's important as well. So it looks like I'm down to the bottom here. So yeah, Daniela says, yeah, not easy to deal with negativity. Well, yeah, once you get it down, get your technique, um, get it honed or get it refined, your technique, then it becomes much more easier. You always have the choice to play a role in the drama or not as well, depending upon, the certain types of drama. If it's something you need to play a role in to reconcile it, then it's important that you stay in there. However, if it's a drama that is nothing really to do with you, yeah, you don't get in there and you don't energize it. So there's different levels with that to what one does. Yeah, you just don't get into anything that will drag you down unless you're part of it. Yeah. And Isonem Lightborn says, what is the timeline for full disclosure? I cannot answer that. I only know that it's within, um, you know, a year or two. And let me say it depends also what you're asking about full disclosure. I believe if you're asking about the other galactics and universal races, that may be a year or two out. I'm just not given any definite information on that other than it is imminent. I'm just not given a time frame on it. And let me say with that the divine plan is subject to change as well sometimes. Having said that, it could be in a day's time, it could occur. I just don't have that information right now to share with you. So one lady says, you remind me of Robbie Williams. Uh, so I'm not sure what Robbie Williams that is, but says we're both inspiring in our own ways. That's great. Yeah, the inspirational ones, all that we are, the more that we have out there doing this, the more we advance the Ascension. So that's good to see. Always a love to see others out there and assisting others. That's what it's about too. So just have another scroll here. I've been on here almost an hour. I'm soon going to shut this down. So if there's any other questions, please put them up here now. I'm at the bottom, so if there's any new questions, I should pretty well see them. Yeah, so secret tech, galactic contact, mass arrest. Yeah, it's all interconnected indeed. And it's most part, it's all set to go. And we know it's all there, all of us. It's just when it gets integrated into the timelines, with the new technology, for example, and the galactic contacts, we know it's part of the timelines. I mean, we already see the galactics, and you do, and they're all already dimensionally and interdimensionally here. So whatever it may be, we know that is very close. We have our confirmations on it. Oh, Robin Williams, yeah, the comedian, yeah. Yeah, I love him. He's beautiful as well. Yeah, he ascended. Yeah, indeed. Hmm. Um, so Daniela says Cairo with a question mark. So that's where the Great Pyramids are at. And yeah, what I'm given, I believe I'll need to be in that area in the very near future. So waiting for things to align. So what I'll do is, let's see, just recap. I think energetically I said most of that at the beginning. So most of you are getting, most of us are getting, all of us, I should say, are getting an influx of light, which will be utilized for in about 2 days' time, is how it usually occurs. There's an incubation period of 2 days' time. I've seen it coming in today, so perhaps on Monday, it's Saturday, I believe, where I'm at. So uh, Monday, it's giving you some more energy for divine work. So maybe it's the mass of rests, huh? So we'll be transmuting, I hope so, and begin to get this stuff over, and also to integrate things like the divine financial system, the QFS, and things like the prosperity packages and the RVs. So hopefully it's that. Again, those are imminent, as what Father gave I last February or so. And so, that is imminent. And again, just to openly disclose, I had wished that for my divine mission here, that we could have just skipped that and went to a place of where we didn't need the money. However, Father said it's a transitional process out um, of the use of money, even for us. See, we can have a civilization out there that's here that is still using money as an exchange, and but it doesn't. The wealth disparity is for the most part gone out of it, but we don't need to remain that. It can stay intact, and we keep rising above it on our layer where a divine financial system is in place, and none of the the bullshit and the coercion and the suppression of humanity is not there. We're going very quickly with this, and however, we're changing this bottom place where it's at now, and that is again part of the process there. The governments and all of the dark regime has no choice but to comply with it. So it's great. Diana Marie. Yeah, again, to keep yourself in the highest levels, everyone does your best, keep your vibration, highest. Don't get drained into negative areas and consequence unless you need to, unless it's part of your your divine development and empowerment. However, if you don't need to get into it anymore, just don't do it, is what I suggest. So this is great, everyone. Corinne says, I'll answer this one. What's your insight on diet in regards to activating our abilities? What I wish to say with that, Corinne, is there's different levels of diets. It's always changing for the most part with the ascension, and it depends what level one's at. If they're just beginning, if they just awakened and are beginning um, transitioning the physical vessel into the light body. Well, it's there that they need to be very meticulous with what their diet is. And I'm just going to jump to the top of the scale here. So that was the bottom, but very quickly I'm going to jump to the top of the scale. And of course, remember there's intermediate levels here. And at the topmost of the scale, once your physical vessel has evolved to such a sufficient degree, then it's okay to fluctuate, like with less, let's say, less healthy foods back and forth. I'll use myself for an example in this, that there is actually times that, and I fluctuate all the time because of the divine work that I do, that there are actually times where I will eat some chocolate bars, which are, toxic food, or some pastries that do have white sugar in it, which is toxic. However, I do that, and it does lower my vibration. However, then I must eat the good high vibrational foods, and my water is always kept good, and to raise the vibration back up. So once you reach, let's say, your highest level and are very comfortable, you have your electricity coming out of your fingers, you have a lot of your gifts, that your physical body is, for the most part, the crystalline process has occurred. So then you follow your inner guidance and you use your discipline. You can feel your energy. If it begins to get a little bit too low, then you need to put the good foods and good things in there. So the diet is in constant flux, and it does depend upon where one is at in their light body development. So, however, what I wish to say, even though it may look hypocritical to what I just said, it is always a good practice to practice a very good diet. I need to say that. And however, there is an individual basis with it. So, for each their own. And having said that, I cannot eat meat. And I do not. However, I've seen some pretty advanced ones in their ascension, that still eat it. And again, that is for them. And when they need to stop it, they will. And likewise with when I need to stop having a chocolate bar occasionally, it does stop. And that is divinely assured. So, we do our best, and we trust what we're given and what we're feeling. But in the early parts of the ascension of the light body process, it is very important to pay very close attention to your diets. Yes. And then again, once you reach such a higher level, for instance, you can bless your foods energetically and bless your waters and things. And yes, it does have effect, but it takes a high level of energetic mastery and knowing to be able to do that, to transmute and transition the foods. And I don't suggest that yet at these levels, although, some of you do it. I bless my food, before I eat it, especially if I cook it, I bless it. But or if I eat out somewheres, or pretty well all the time, I'll bless my food, unless, a couple times my divine, powerful comrades, when they cook for me, I said, I love this because I don't need to bless the food. It's perfect. So there are times when I don't bless it. But for the most time, when I make or cook something myself, I bless it. That says something for how much of a cook I am, huh? But I don't cook. I more so just eat raw vegetables and things. Okay, great. That's That's pretty well long enough. So I love you all, and thank you for your questions tonight, and giving me the opportunity to ramble to you and share whatever I could with you. And so, pretty much we're in a waiting mode here, and just waiting for the big things to occur. So the storm is upon us. We're prepared. There's been an influx of light the last few days. There is a sunspot forming that will emit even more photonic light. So let's say the heavens, the galactics, everything is being prepared for what is going to be pretty substantial here very shortly. So having said that, looking at the signs, we're very close, and everyone is getting an infusion of light at this time for something that will occur in 2 days or less. So let's see what it is, and hang in there and keep doing all the good stuff all of you are doing, and let's see what happens. So love you, peace, wink, and I love you all, and love and light, and let's get this mission completed so we can go and have fun in the other universes. Woo! Love you. Bye now. And thank you so much.